When you take a look at stolen base attempts in Major League Baseball the last 10 seasons, hallelujah, right? Look at that uptick that we enjoyed just a season ago. It went up from 2021 to 2022, but because of the rule changes, it was outstanding. 4,369 attempts as baby they were born to run, as Bruce Springsteen sang so many years ago. That was evident in baseball. Cam Maybin was an outstanding base stealer in his career, and nobody knows the art of stolen bases better than Bo Porter. Over to you, gentlemen, in 42.
Well, we're standing over here in 42, and we're going to talk about base stealing. Obviously, you saw the uptick in Major League Baseball. When you start to think about base stealing, what many people may not realize is that most of the work actually happens before we get out here doing game time. We get into the video room. We would always have cut-ups of all of the starting pitchers and then the bullpen guys. But there's some very detailed things that I wanted Cam and I to just go through, especially for kids at home. And we're going to start with just taking your lead off of first base. And I'm going to let Cam demonstrate here. Just talk about some of the things we would talk about in spring training, Cam, when you get ready to take your lead off of first base.
Well, Bo Porter had a very young, raw Cam Maybin when I first got traded over to the Marlins. And Bo spent a lot of time, taking care of the meticulous things, the little things. And one thing that he saw in me early is that I had a knack for stealing bases, but I also had a bad habit. When I took my lead, what I would do is I would get off, and all of a sudden I look back, and I'm not in the baseline. And what happens as a base stealer, your first move is when you pick up that bag, you're going to try to get back in line. So now all of a sudden your angle goes from out behind the baseline to back inside the baseline. So now you have all these squiggly lines, so to speak. We say quickest way to a point, straight line. So what you want to do as a base stealer, the first thing you want to do is when you get out there early, make sure that you're in line with the second base bag, because now when you go, it's a straight shot. You're not going to veer off to the right or left, and now you're right in line with that bag. So those little things can be the reason why some of you base stealers at home, you young base stealers, get caught that bang play. Sometimes it's your lead, it's your distance, but a lot of times you're just not in line, so your line to second base isn't as straight as you would like. So that was key for me. And then the second thing, we talk about coming back to the bag.
Coming back to the bag.
We're going to get to stealing, but we got to know how to get back. So now if you come back into the bag feet first, one thing Bo used to always tell me, a lot of times I would get back here and I would kind of open up and do this really cute little thing.
Yes.
And Bo said, whoa. You're 6'3", you're 6'4" with your spikes on. You're a big guy. When you get out here and you come back to the bag, what you want to do, young runners, young base stealers, all of a sudden, when you go back, you want to go back to the middle of that bag, and Bo will show you why as a first baseman, this is what will happen.
And this is why when you start to think about pitchers picking over the first base, a lot of times, a lot of pitchers, they don't even like picking the first base. But as the base runner, when you look at that window that they have to pick, I want to make that pitcher throw that baseball in this window right here. If Cam was to come back and open up the gate, now, if it's an errant throw, the first baseman now has all of this room to maneuver to get that pick. But if he come back standing up and he stick the bag, all of a sudden, if he throws the ball there, now that ball is down the right field line, and Cam can take off and he can take the next base. So it's things like that when the pitcher picks over and he realized, man, I don't really have that much of a window to make that pick over. It now makes his pick more, less effective, and you're now able to get out there to get a better lead. So some of the things that I make sure that we tell the base runner when they get to first base, one, if we have a lollipop, I'll basically say to the guy who get to first base, okay, let's go and lick this lollipop. And that's telling him that the pitcher at the mound, we have keys, he's slow to the plate, it's a 1-4, 1-5, 1-6, and Cam knows that he has the green light, he's looking to get the base. The next thing you want to talk about, you're always anticipating the ball in the dirt. I'm a firm believer that baseball is a very instinctual game. Your instincts automatically gets better when you anticipate. So the more I can remind them about watch the breaking ball in the dirt, watch the breaking ball in the dirt. We're looking to go first to third. We're looking to go first to third. Base running is all about creating run-scoring opportunities, and Cam Maybin was one of the best at it. I know that you had some big stolen bases in your career, and when you were with the Houston Astros, you had a real big money bag in Houston Astros.
Yeah, game 2 in L.A., I got called in a pinch hit. So the beauty about that is I had to hit my way on, which made it even more special. So I was able to get a base hit off McCarthy, and I come in, and like we know, Bo used to say this all the time, you got to get him early.
Got to get him
McCarthy, a big, long guy, and right here, a big part of it, if you go back, you see my lead. like you said, anticipating the ball in the dirt. But the lead, especially for big guys, and that was a great job of Barnes trying to block the bag right there. But if you watch the lead, for me, what determined if I was going to be safe or out was my lead. One thing that Bo talks about, being ready to take the next bag, anticipating the ball in the dirt, and this is what that looks like. When you get out there as a base stealer, and one thing I learned from Bo, you can't be afraid to be picked off. More times than not as a base stealer, we talked about what it looks like when you go in, standing up. But more times than not as a base stealer, we want to see you get dirty. We want to see you get out there. We want to see you get a good lead. That almost baits them into throwing the ball over to first base. So
we can't get this red jacket.
Now, we won't get it dirty. It's the holiday season. But what you want to do is you want to make sure you're out there almost somewhat uncomfortable where it's a step and it's a dive and you're getting dirty because you have to be willing to coach those throws over now. And now, especially with these new rules, we're seeing some guys take advantage because the time clock, the speed of the game is speeding up. And now guys are so worried about going home, Bo. We talk about the cat and mouse game. I know I would have had you. We would have stole 80 bags. I mean,
easy.
My boy D. Gordon might steal 100 bags in today's game.
Easy.
But it's because these guys are so worried about going home. Now you get out there, you time that clock, and all of a sudden, too, one other thing, base stealers, when you steal, stay low. I see so many young base stealers, when they go, they pop straight up. That's the quickest way to get thrown out. What you want to do, almost used to do this with me. Imagine a pole right here.
We had the rope. We had the rope. Yes.
And Bo used to make us stay low and get under the rope because as a base stealer, you want to stay low to the ground. You want to make sure you're almost like a plane coming in for a landing. Stay low, you get low, and it's a nice smooth slide, stolen base into second base.
Yes, and Admin, this is a great base stealing segment, but at the end of the day, as base stealers, we're taking the bags. We're taking them.
That's it.
Back to you,
Taking
Adnan.
candy from a baby, Adnan. Let's go.
Let's run it back. You guys are running the game. Great stuff. And love the shot to D. Strange Gordon.